Alrighty, so I recently got a question from one of my subscribers who feels like they are trying to do too many things. This is a guy called Zach.
Hey, what's going on, Ollie?
He is trying to grow his photography business. He's trying to grow his YouTube channel. He feels like he's a bit overwhelmed. He's not really sure where it's all going. He feels like he's struggling to build systems around this sort of stuff. And so in this video, I want to share some honest advice for someone who feels like they're trying to do too many things. So we're going to start with a question from Zach, and there'll be timestamps down below if you want to skip around this video.
Hey, what's going on, Ollie? It's nice to send you a video. I actually just bought your book recently and absolutely loved it. But to answer your question about goals, one of the things I've been struggling with is trying to be in too many places at once. And what I mean by that is I feel that there are so many different things that we want to do or goals we want to go after, but actually committing to and delivering on said goal can be difficult for me because I want to do so many different things at once. And so to just give an example, one being I am aspiring to become a portrait photographer. So I actually have a studio in my house. And additionally, I'm trying to become a full-time YouTuber like yourself. And so I lived in a van for 17 months and do a lot of backpacking and traveling and van life adventure stuff. And so our channel is Zach and Fal, and we're just really struggling to develop systems where we feel that we're making tangible progress and understand how to iterate, whether that's my personal business, developing systems within that business, or developing systems on our YouTube. I do know you have the YouTuber Academy and thinking about joining that, but ultimately, just being in too many places at once and really deciding where to put all of my effort and how to outsource beyond that. Anyway, thanks again for a kick-ass book, dude. Really love your content. Cheers.
Oh, thank you, Zach. That is a very nice question, and I'll be checking out the channel as well. Okay, this is a problem that so many people have. I am trying to do too much shit at the same time, and I find it overwhelming, and I find it a struggle because I have too many goals and have all these interests, and I don't know which one to go for. So Zach is trying to build a business as a portrait photographer. Zach is also trying to go full-time on his YouTube channel. Let's have a look at the YouTube channel. Okay, so this is Zach's channel, 950 subscribers, 951 now. Feel free to subscribe. Actually, probably don't subscribe to Zach, because if you don't like his content and you subscribe, it's actually bad algorithmically for this. So like, we are not going to put a link down below. Sorry, Zach, because we don't want to ruin your channel with this sort of thing. But if you want to find it and you actually enjoy the content, then maybe you'd want to subscribe. Anyway, van life vlogs, 12 days ago, 2 weeks ago. Okay, let's see, popular videos, 27K views, handful of videos on the channel, 57 videos, 900 subscribers. In fairness, it took me 52 videos to get my first 1,000 subscribers over 6 months. So, I mean, he's growing at a similar rate that I did. Okay, so Zach is trying to grow his YouTube channel. Looks like his wife/partner or whatever, great YouTube channel with van life, building systems, but also the initial thing that Zach said was like, I'm trying to do too many things, struggling with like being in too many places at once. Like, how do I figure this out? Okay, if Zach and I were having a chat and he was asking me this question and I asked him permission to kind of coach him through the process, this is, and he were to say yes, of course. I don't just give this advice unsolicited, usually. I ask people if they would be open to a conversation. This is sort of the thing I'd be saying to Zach, and I'd be saying to anyone who's in the position where they feel as if they're just doing too many things. And I think what it comes down to is 3 letters, GPS. This is goal, plan, and system. So Zach seems to have 2 things going on. One of the goals is full-time YouTuber. And the second goal seems to be grow portrait photography business. And what Zach was saying is that he's struggling to find systems and stuff. But I don't think that struggle is actually what Zach thinks it is. I don't think it's about the systems. I think it's probably an issue with the goal and or the plan. Generally, when someone tells me a goal like I want to be a full-time YouTuber, I want to grow my business, I try and get them to be a little bit more specific about what that actually means. So maybe what Zach means by full-time YouTuber is, well, if I could make 5K a month from my YouTube channel or the business around it, that would allow me to go full-time. Maybe he doesn't actually want to do his photography business, which is interesting. Maybe what he means by growing the photography business is that, yeah, you know, the goal, if I could get that to, I don't know, 10K a month in profit, then I'll feel like I'm really winning. It's hard to know in terms of like this business as to where it currently is to where it needs to go. We have to know where we're going, which is the goal. We have to know what is the plan that we're following to get there, which is sort of like the strategy. And then the system just supports the strategy. And I suspect, based on Zach's question, that he's either not clear on his goal, or if he is, he's not really clear on his plan or his strategy. So for example, let's do it in the context of the business, because it's a bit more of a clear thing than in the context of growing a YouTube channel. Let's say Zach's business is currently doing 2K a month, and he wants to grow it to 10K a month. Okay, that's pretty reasonable. It's like the goal is I want to add an extra 8K a month in profit or in revenue, whatever metric you want to use, to the business. I would then ask the question, what is the plan? I.e., what are the big 3 to 5 chess moves that are going to get you to that goal? Now, in Zach's case, he's got a photography studio in his house, and let's say he signs a photography client for, I don't know, $500 a day. $500 a day. Okay, well, if Zach wants to add an extra $8,000 a month, you know what, let's call this 12 or 12K just to keep the math simple. If Zach wants to add an extra 10K a month in revenue, let's call it revenue rather than profit just to keep the number simple, how many clients does he need? Well, he needs an extra 20 clients, because 20 times 500 is 10,000. And he needs an extra 20 clients a month. That seems like quite a lot. His strategy, his plan is probably not, let me try and get 20 clients a month at $500 a day, and that'll get me to my 10K a month in revenue. That's probably not it. I'd be really saying to Zach, okay, Zach, mate, like, what actually is the goal? Like, you want to grow the photography business. What does that mean? Where is it now? Where is it going? Once we figure out where it's going, what's the plan to get there? Now, with all this time that you free up, you might like to spend some of it learning, and a great way to do that is using Brilliant, who are the sponsor of today's video. Brilliant is an interactive platform where you learn maths, programming, and AI, and they've got thousands of lessons, and their focus is on learning by doing, not just by consuming. I've been using Brilliant now for the last 5 years, and they've also been supporting the channel during that time as well. They've got a first principles approach to learning, which helps you build understanding from the ground up, and it's all crafted by an award-winning team of researchers, teachers, and professionals from funky places like MIT, Caltech, Microsoft, Google, and more. Brilliant helps you build your critical thinking skills through problem solving, not memorizing things. So while you're building real knowledge on specific topics, you also become a better thinker, and I personally think that learning every day is one of the most important things you can do. The new courses on programming are particularly good, and they can help you get familiar with the programming language Python, and so you can start building programs on day one with the built-in drag and drop editor. If any of that sounds good, you can try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days. Just head over to brilliant.org/Ali Abdaal, or check out the link in the video description, and that will also get you 20% off the annual premium subscription. So thank you so much, Brilliant, for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it. This is A, this is where you are right now, and this is B, where you want to get to. This is your goal. This is the sort of destination that you figure out that, like, okay, I want to roughly go in the direction. This is the destination I want to get to. Now, usually there are multiple paths to get to that destination. If you were to ask someone who's a professional entrepreneur or who's been doing business for a very long time, and you were to say, hey, how many ways are there to grow my business from 2K to 12K in revenue? They would say there are an infinite number of ways to do that. And so I would say to Zach, what are the different strategies or plans you could use to get from A to B? To grow from where your business is now to where it wants to be, or to grow your YouTube channel from where it's now to where it wants to be. Now, ideally, Zach should be able to come up with at least 5 options. If Zach cannot come up with 5 options, it means he has a knowledge problem. It means he just does not simply know what are the options. In that case, I would say to Zach, well, if it's business, hire a business coach, pay them some money, find someone who's good. They usually give free sessions for the first one, and then help you out in terms of like figuring out what actually are the plans to get from A to B. I would say watch a bunch of Alex Hormozi content. Watch every entrepreneurship channel that's like reputable on YouTube that you can find. Read books like The E-Myth Revisited and books about business strategy and stuff. And eventually you'll figure out that, okay, these are the things I can do to get my business from where it is right now to where I want it to be. Now that we no longer have a knowledge problem, it's just a case of figuring out which one of these strategies do we want to go after. Because the thing with, and this was kind of Zach's initial question, it sort of feels like he's trying to do too many things. If you're going in that direction and that direction and that direction and that direction and that direction, you end up actually going nowhere. Whereas if you put all of that effort into a single direction, just doing one thing, you're way more likely to get to that one thing. And then once that one thing has taken you to where you want it to be, you can then start adding more things onto it. So I'd be saying to Zach, okay, what is the one strategy that we're trying to find to get you from where you are to where you want to be, to grow your business from, I don't know, 2K to 12K or whatever the situation might be. Once we have identified the plan, let's say in Zach's case, the plan is going to be, let's say Zach decides, you know what, I'm not going to deal with selling these $500 products. I want to sell at least $2,000. That probably means I want to charge businesses and weddings And you know what? Let's go after weddings because, I'm a young guy, I'm a good looking guy, I can be a wedding photographer or whatever. Cool. Now I just need 5 clients a month. 5 wedding clients to pay me $2,000 for a photo shoot, an engagement photo shoot, a wedding photo shoot, the whole shebang for portraits and stuff. Maybe I can do weddings plus minus families. But let me start going after weddings. Okay, cool. So how do I land those 5 clients? Well, if I can get 20 clients on a call, then my close rate is 25%. So how do I get 20 clients to book a call with me so that I can close 25% of them and get 5 sales? Well, okay, cool. Now we figure out sources of lead gen. So we read Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Leads, and we figure out, okay, cool. There is a local, wedding expo or whatever, where anyone who's getting married rocks up and it's like a fair and they talk about stuff. Maybe I can run ads in the local wedding magazine, wedding podcast, wedding YouTube channel. I just need to get these 20 clients on a call. And then we figure out a method for doing that. Oh, by the way, if you are enjoying this video so far and you're interested in all this stuff around how to grow a business, I'm actually starting a brand new, completely free email newsletter called Business Class. And this is where me and my team are going to be sharing insights from behind the scenes of how we grew our business from 0 to 5 million in revenue and the stuff that we're doing to try and go from 5 million to 10 million. This might be Looms, it might be coaching call recordings, it might be like Notion templates and stuff. Basically, as we're working on this business, we're generating so much stuff and content that's super helpful for other entrepreneurs, but it's too niche to share on this YouTube channel, so we're putting it into a separate email called Business Class. It's completely free. There'll be a link down below, and you can check it out if you like. I heard this the other day. I was hanging out with a guy called Russell Brunson, who's written an amazing book called .com Secrets and Expert Secrets and Traffic Secrets, and I had the pleasure of spending a few hours with him in Boise, Idaho, at his office, and he was great. And he basically said, business problems are only 2 things. It is either a math problem, he's American, I would say math problem. It's either a math problem, or it is a drama problem. It's either math or drama. So which one is it? Drama is like the psychological and emotional stuff, and maths is everything else. So in Zach's case, figuring out how do I land an extra 5 clients a month at 2K, it's like, you would think it's a maths problem because we just need to figure out the strategy and reverse engineer it. But often, drama problems disguise themselves as maths problems. Maybe Zach feels scared to pitch his services out to people. There's some sort of fear that's holding him back. Maybe he feels like, maybe he's like unconsciously sabotaging himself. Zach, maybe like when the thought comes to get new clients, you sort of have this sense of imposter syndrome and you feel like, oh, I'm not a real photographer, so maybe my service is not that good. Maybe I can't charge that much money. And so you subconsciously hold yourself back because you're afraid of putting yourself out there in that sense. And then you think, let me start a YouTube channel. Let me do something else. This is often a problem that entrepreneurs and really everyone has. You start doing something, it goes up against your comfort zone, and you start having to step outside of your comfort zone. But because you can't deal with stepping outside your comfort zone in the nicest possible way, Zach, because it's hard to step outside of your comfort zone, you then retreat back and you think, let me try something new. And then you start a YouTube channel. And then you get to a point where it's hard and you think, you know what, that's not working. Let me try growing on Instagram. And you know what, everyone says you should diversify anyway, so let me just not grow on YouTube. Let me focus on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, plus shorts, right? Shorts are good. So it's like I can make the same content on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and TikTok. You know what, I can put it on Facebook as well. Everyone says Snapchat. Gary Vee said Snapchat is where it's at. LinkedIn has amazing organic reach these days. And you start like freaking spreading yourself miles thin because when you are focusing on one thing and you go up against the limit of your competence, to push through that barrier is hard. And that is where the drama comes in. So Zach, if I could sit down with you and ask you questions, we'd be having this sort of conversation. We'd be trying to figure out what your goal is, what your plan is, what your system is to get to that plan. And we'd be trying to identify what's holding you back. Here is a question that I find really helpful. So Zach, or whoever is watching this, ask yourself the question, think about your goal and ask yourself, why am I not already there? And think about what's the first answer that comes to mind. Why am I not already there? So if you were to genuinely ask yourself, let's say my goal is to get an extra 10K a month in profit from my business. All right, Zach, why are you not already there? You might say, because we don't have enough clients. Okay, why don't you have enough clients? Because we don't put ourselves out there enough. Why don't you put yourselves out there enough? Because I'm scared. It's like, yes, we've gotten somewhere. Again, this is not yet a two-way conversation with Zach, although Zach, if you're ever in London, hit me up. This is not a two-way conversation, but it's like, I ask myself this question, I imagine, like, what I do when I'm having a business problem. I imagine myself having a conversation with Alex Hormozi, and I imagine him asking me those questions. It's like, we're asking ourselves these questions to reverse engineer from the thing that we think we want to the strategy we're using to get there, to the system that we're using to follow that plan. So, taking this all the way back, and apologies that this is all over the place, but yeah, it's hard to give general advice that appeals to multiple people while also specifically trying to answer Zach's questions. But I hope, Zach, if you're watching this, I hope this gives you just a rough sense of the sort of things I'd be thinking about as it relates to your issue. So for the record, what I'm saying is I don't think your problem is in systems. I think your problem is that you're not sure what your goal is for your YouTube channel and your business. And if you are, you're not sure what the specific plan is to get there. And only when you've nailed both those things do you then have a systems problem to be like, okay, well, how do I build systems so that I can buy back my time and so that it's not too much of a faff? How can I outsource my editing, blah, blah, blah. But thinking on the level of system, when you haven't yet defined your goal and defined a plan to get there, is gonna just wind you in knots, and it's not actually gonna go anywhere. But the thing that you led with, which I think was quite telling, I think what was telling is that you led with the question of how do I stop myself? How do I figure out what I really want? How do I pursue one goal because I feel like I'm trying to do too many things? And you ended with, oh, I feel like my system's aren't right. I suspect the real problem was somewhere at the start where you were asking yourself like, I have these different goals and I'm not sure which one to go for. Goal number 1 is grow my business. Goal number 2 is try, or rather, go full-time on YouTube. Which of these is harder? Looking at your channel, I would say going full-time on YouTube will be harder than growing a business. Growing a business is fairly straightforward, right? Like there is a fairly linear relationship between you doing sensible things and your business growing. How do you get an extra 10K in revenue? Well, you just land 5 clients at 2K a client. Well, how do you land a 2K client? I don't know, you land a 1K client and then you increase your prices, or you look at who else is landing 2K clients and you speak to other photographers in your area and you see who is making the most money. You take them out for coffee or breakfast or something. You ask them for advice. You shadow them on a shoot. You see how they're doing things. You ask them to help you out. The thing with a business is broadly a math problem. However, going full-time on YouTube is not a math problem. Going full-time on YouTube is unfortunately a creative field. Creative fields are way more competitive than something like a local business where you're shooting photographs in your local apartment or whatever. Loads and loads and loads of people in the world are trying to go full-time on YouTube. Not everyone is going to make it. It takes a decent chunk of luck. It takes the right niche. It takes the right unfair advantages. You clearly know how to make videos. This channel is quite cool, like the van life stuff. But also van life is like a pretty saturated niche. There's loads of people trying to do van life. I'd be thinking, okay, and if you take our course, you can see, in fact, email us, we'll give you free access to our course. If you look at this thing, you're like, who's my target audience? What's my value proposition? What's my unfair advantage? How am I going to stand out in this otherwise saturated market? What are all of the competitors doing? Read a book called Blue Ocean Strategy and you start looking at, okay, what's the strategy map? How do I position my channel in a way that's slightly different from all these other people who are also doing this van life content? What is ultimately the product I can sell on the back end? Because going full-time on YouTube with just AdSense and brand deals is really hard. So like, what's the product I make on the back end? This is hard. Very hard to go full-time on YouTube. I would not recommend it. Growing a biz is fairly easy. It's fairly easy to grow a business because there is a playbook. It's obvious, other people have done it. It's a lot less reliant on luck. Growing a YouTube channel, a lot of it is about luck. Growing a business, not really about luck. Lady Luck is not that involved in growing a business. It's just about doing sensible things. So Zach, if you and I were having a conversation, one of the things I'd be really trying to get you to nail down on is like, why? What is the bigger why behind these things? Why do you want to grow your business and or grow your YouTube channel and or build systems and or like do this outsourcing and stuff? Knowing you, Zach, we'd probably find that money is a thing. That money is the bottleneck. You probably feel like you're not making enough money or not as much money as you'd like. Therefore, because go full-time on YouTube is a money goal. It's like, I want to make enough money from YouTube such that I can go full-time. And I want to grow my photography business is also a money goal because people don't want to grow a business just for the sake of it, unless it's a non-profit, which I suspect yours is not. They want to grow a business because it makes more money. A lot of this stuff comes down to money. And this is where we start getting into drama issues because we start confronting our scarcity mindset and our limiting beliefs around money and blah, 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 all that fun stuff. So I'd be really trying to ask you, Zach, really, what's the goal? It's a money goal? Great, that's totally fine. How much money do you need to be coming in every month to feel satisfied? You might say what everyone says, which is 10K a month. Fantastic. And then we think, okay, so 10K a month is really the goal. That is the true goal. Growing my business and going full-time on YouTube, these are just things that will hopefully get me to 10K a month because then I'll be happy. Zach, you seem like a pretty chill guy anyway. You're doing the van life thing. You're probably happy anyway. We don't need to have a philosophical conversation about really kind of the arrival fallacy and all this sort of stuff. We'll just take this at face value. And we're just saying, okay, Zach, if the goal is 10K a month, honestly, I wouldn't bother with a YouTube channel for now. I would say take a break from the YouTube channel unless it's just genuinely fun and you're doing it as a hobby. If you're doing it as a hobby, great. It's, men need their hobbies. People need their hobbies. It's good to have hobbies. Focus on growing the business. Make that your one work-themed goal. Make that the thing that you're focusing on for 10 hours a day, focusing on growing a business. That's going to get you to 10K a month way quicker and way easier and way less lucky than trying to go full-time on YouTube for 10 hours a day. Even working on a YouTube channel for 10 hours a day, there's no guarantee that it's going to get you to 10K a month. But working on your business for 10 hours a day with the right advice is basically guaranteed to get you to 10K a month. Like, it's not that hard. So I would say reduce your focus on your YouTube channel, treat it like a hobby. Don't think I want to go full-time on YouTube. The thing with a YouTube channel is that, like, trying to make money from it almost makes it harder to make money from it. If you approach a YouTube channel with the idea that, like, you know what, I'm doing this for the joy of it, and I'm doing this to add value to people, the chances of you being able to monetize that are actually higher than if you were to focus on, I'm going to make money from my YouTube channel. Because as you know, you've made 50 videos at this point. It's hard. It's arduous. You only get like a few views per video. Sometimes you get 2,000 views. Sometimes you get 200 views. That's great. 2,000 people, 200 people are watching the videos, but it's not really the path to 10K a month. So Zach, if the goal is really money, let's be honest that the goal is really money. Let's not bullshit ourselves about, like, really my problem is systems and outsourcing. No, the problem is I have a goal that's 10K a month, and I'm currently not doing the most efficient thing to get to that goal. Some people might be like, well, it's not good to have a money goal. And, like, I disagree. I'm all in favor of having money goals. The thing is, once you're making 10K a month from your business, now you have enough cash flow to be able to kind of not worry about the bills and to be able to potentially outsource and hire team members for your business. Then you grow to 20K a month. And it is an unfortunate side effect of capitalism that those who have money find it easier to make money than those who do not have money. Getting to 10K a month is actually harder than going from 10 to 100. Going from 10K a month to 100K a month, I think, is easier than going from 0 to 10K a month. Similarly, on growing on YouTube, your first 1,000 subscribers are the hardest. It becomes easier after that. But my point is, by focusing on what actually is the goal and what is the most efficient vehicle you've got to get to that goal, which I suspect is your business rather than your YouTube channel, you focus your efforts on the business, you forget about the YouTube channel, you treat it as a hobby, and once you're at the 10K, great. Now you can go back on YouTube and you can do it for fun. Trust me, when I say this, YouTube is more fun when it is a side hustle rather than when it's your main source of income. I would say, given your niche, you actually don't want to go full-time on YouTube, Zach. You do not want to go full-time on YouTube. You do not want to be reliant on YouTube for your full-time living. A great place to be is when you have a business and you do YouTube for fun and you do YouTube for pocket money. If your YouTube channel generates leads for your business, then great, you're sort of getting the best of both worlds. That's a great place to be. But most people who I know who are full-time YouTubers, where their YouTube channel is their main source of income, are quite stressed. If you have a business underlying it, you're a lot less stressed. So Zach, please don't try and go full-time on YouTube. Focus on your business, get it to 10K a month, assuming that's a goal. Do YouTube as a hobby. And Zach, if you're watching this or anyone else and you've not yet seen my video, which is honest advice to someone who wants financial freedom, which Zach, I suspect is something you might want, then check out this video over here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.